What's up everybody, Nikolai here from RCGroups.com, and today we're going to take a look at the new Quanum Cyclops Diversity DVR FPV goggles. These are from our good friends over at Hobby King, and for the low price of actually under $100, you're getting quite a bit in this package, so let's take a quick look. So before we get into any details, let me show you what comes in the box. And speaking of the box, this is a really nice carrying tote. It has a nice little carrying strap here, and everything fits inside there really good. But if you decide you don't want to use the box, they do include this new fabric bag. It's a full string bag, really nice, and just a nice way to keep everything together there. And in addition to that, they have two battery adapters, one for XT60, one for JST. So I'm really happy to see that for those of us that want to use our flight packs. You know, I have most of mine in JST. My bigger quads are in XT60, so those work perfectly. And then there is a RCA to 3.5mm audio jack for your audio video needs. Then they include an extra 3x magnification Fresnel lens. This is the same that's in there, I believe. It's just provided in case yours gets scratched up. And then they provide the mount and the mounting tape for the Quanum head tracker unit. It is not provided, but they give you the mount in case you already have it or want to add it later. And then there is a very nice manual that's included with full color pictures and descriptions of all the modes that you need to know. So that's what comes in the box. Let me tell you a little more detail of what's on the unit itself. As you can see, it is a single screen FPV goggle. It is a 5-inch TFT monitor with 800 by 480 resolution. And as the previous Quanum Cyclops goggles, it is wide enough to fit my glasses, and should be wide enough to fit most people's glasses. But as you can see, they fit in there just fine. I did notice that the foam grabbed a little bit, so I'll probably cut away a little bit on the sides, but it worked very nicely with my glasses. In addition to that, you have your focal length adjusters on each side. For myself, it worked the best all the way to the back. And then in the back, you have your battery connector and your battery pouch. The only thing I noticed about this battery pouch was that it's not very flexible. So if you want to use like a 4-cell 1500 milliamp, typical race pack, it's not going to fit in there very good depending on the dimensions of your battery. I'd really like to see that more elastic so that you have more flexibility in what battery you use. And as you can tell from the antennas here, from the last Cyclops version, they have upgraded this now to a diversity receiver. And they've included a nice pagoda antenna that I'm happy to see is a nice step up from the typical circular polarized mushrooms that they give you, and a nice patch antenna as well. And then the other upgrade from the last Cyclops version is the DVR. So we have a DVR receiver switch here down on the bottom, and the micro SD card slot that you stick your card in there, and everything will be saved right there. Moving around to the side, we have our RX out and AV in for your various audio-visual needs. And on the eyeglasses here, there's some very nice 3-layer foam. The very outside layer here is a nice, not velvet, but felt material. And it feels very good on the face. I had no light leaks except for the nose, but they include an extra piece of nose foam here. And once I put that on there, I had no light leaks whatsoever. Alright, and onto the buttons on the top here. On our front, we have our scan button, or auto scan, and I noticed a nice thing about this is that scan is really quick compared to my other goggles that I've tried out. That the scan found my channel in no time flat. And if you don't want to do the scan, you can search for your band and channel using these buttons here. And then around the front here, we have our DVR playback buttons for play, pause, reverse, and forward. And then around to the side, we have our button that switches from AV to your receiver inputs. And then your various buttons to toggle through your menus for brightness, contrast, color, and all that kind of thing. So that about wraps up the exterior features. Let's take a closer look at the screen and what's inside. Alright, so we went ahead and connected the battery and set the camera to see as much as you can here. And I'm going to show you just how quick that auto scan button is here. So we're going to hold down the button for a couple seconds and let it go. And in a matter of seconds, we will find the right channel. See, that's pretty impressive to me. My last goggles took quite a while to scan, so I'm happy that was under a couple seconds. So we have my little quad plugged in here for a picture, and pointing at my my pool wall here with some airplane posters. And it's a little hard to tell on the camera through the goggles, but this is a really nice, clean, clear picture. It's got good contrast, it's got good color. I would say pretty much better than the goggles that I have. I'm really impressed with them so far, and I'm really looking forward to flying with this one. So I can't quite show you the whole picture because as the field of view is wider than the camera and it can catch in the goggles, but I think you can see most of it here. So down on the bottom here is your pack voltage, and you can see the green bars for your two receiver strengths here. So if I put my hand and mess with one of the patch antenna on the right here, you can see the values changing. So that's a nice live status of how your antennas are getting signal. Unfortunately, what I did notice is that these screen displays on the bottom are not movable. So if you have your quad HUD configured to use that area, you might have to move them or figure out a different way around it, because those are unfortunately not movable and not hideable. And then we have our typical menu options down here for brightness, contrast, color. Alright, so that's the very basics of the screen display, and like I said, it is a very super crisp, clear screen, clear picture. Anyway, we're going to get out onto the field and take some DVR footage, get some flight time on this goggle, and see how I think it compares to the other ones that I have. So stay tuned, and I'll show you some DVR footage and with some comments, and we'll see how it does. Okay guys, so we took out the Cyclops Diversity DVR goggles to the field, and here it is on my Micro Sky Hunter following a friend around the field. And the first thing you'll notice here is it looks like the picture is either moved up or there's some black bar on the bottom eighth of the screen or so that's causing some playback issues. Like the rest of the picture is good, but I don't know what's quite happening on the bottom. I don't know if it's mirrored or what, but I know that black bar is the exact position where I was seeing the timer when I switched to DVR playback mode. So I wonder if there's some firmware issues there going on. The second thing you'll notice is the playback's a little bit dark from what I was seeing in the goggles. And that's a noted issue that Hobby King does know about, and it's been reported multiple times by other people on the thread for this goggle. So I did expect to see that, but it is easily fixed in post by a little bit of a brightening filter, but that's just one thing that you'll want to know about. It is a little bit dark on the playback. Another thing I noticed when I was flying this around is I would occasionally get screen blackouts here instead of it going to static quickly or anything like that that you would expect to see. It would completely black out either for maybe a half a second upwards of maybe 2 seconds or so. So I really had to be conscious of that when I was flying. And it seemed to happen in kind of the same areas, but it wasn't indicating that I was low of signal on the status bars of the screen, so it was kind of a little bit jarring. But along that line, I also noticed that the playback of the DVR is showing more blackouts than I was seeing on screen, which is also interesting. I only got a couple, I can remember two or three during this whole flight, and we're obviously seeing a lot more than that in the recording. So I believe that's also a firmware issue, and I'm hoping that Hobby King will send us a firmware update to fix these issues soon. But other than that, the goggles performed really well. I was really pleased with the screen quality, the picture quality during flying around. It was nice and crisp and clear, good color,
And the antennas performed really well for being stock antennas. The patch got me really good range, and the pagoda got me really good really good reception within the immediate area around me. So I was impressed with that, and I will be trying out the other antennas that I've purchased formerly and trying on here and see if it improves anymore. So that about wraps it up for the Quantum Cyclops Diversity DVR goggle. As you can tell, this is a pretty good goggle for the money. For the price point, you really can't be beat for a single monitor FPV solution. And with getting diversity receivers and the DVR built in, granted it does have some little issues, but I think they're all firmware issues. So I'm willing to bet that Hobby King will issue a firmware upgrade, or maybe if you wait a little bit, the firmware upgrade will come out on newer ones that are sold. But except for those couple little issues, really, the comfort of the goggle flying all day long was really nice. I didn't have any fog up issues, so to say at this point yet. Anyway, it would be nice to have a fan edition, but so far I haven't needed it. The comfort of the foam was really good, and I was really happy with the picture, as I mentioned. And for the price point of under $100 for all you get for these goggles, I am very pleased with them and think you should check them out. So thanks for tuning in for my review of the Quantum Cyclops Diversity DVR goggle. This is Nikolai from RCGroups.com. And until next time, keep your wings level.